whenever we have a strategy or whenever you're trading a strategy, that still doesn't mean that you're going to be consistent in the market, right? You need to apply it the right way. And really, especially in this Discord, there's a lot of information. I tend to throw a lot of information out at the same time. So making sure that applying something in a structured way will make sure that whatever you want to apply, whatever you see, whatever you want to implement will have the outcome that you want, essentially. So there are a few key things. First of all, I just have the scalper open here, and it's looking pretty good as always. Like at this point, I probably had it open for the past 3 or 4 days, and every single time, it's just doing well. Basically, every single time there's trades and they hit. And if we traded this manually, then the performance would be much better than the backtesting here. It's just the limits of the backtesting on trading. You don't really show. They don't really give justice to the actual performance. So we will implement it into our own backtesting engine pretty soon as well. So okay, when we are starting when we are trading a strategy, what are the important things to do? How do we implement the strategy, and how do we start trading? How do we start going into the market? And this is whether you're trying out a new strategy, or you haven't been trading before, or you have been trading before but you stopped trading for a while. How do you get back into it? How do you seamlessly transition from not trading to trading consistently? And there are some speed bumps that are very important to handle well, and if they're not handled well, then that can result in bad results. So number one is that we need to understand the strategy that we're trading, right? So whatever strategy it is, whether it's the scalper or the stock strategy or the dashboards or a completely different strategy, whatever the strategy is, we need to understand what it is and why it's working the way it is. So with the information given to someone, whoever taught you the strategy or wherever you read about it, you take that information and you try to understand it as much as possible. With understand, I define understand by saying, okay, so I just read this and I can ask myself questions that come up and I know the answers to them. That's what it means to understand something, that you took some information and you're not repeating it. What you're doing is you form your own thesis about it, and now you're able to apply that thesis on other questions as well, right? There's a difference between learning something and understanding something. If you learn something, you just memorize what the information there is, but you're not able to move. If there's a different question that hasn't been covered. If you understand it, then you know how to answer a question that hasn't been covered because you understood the actual essence of it. So that's what we're trying to do, right? And it might not happen right away, especially when there's a lot of other information coming in. So it might not happen right away, but over time, it will click. So we use the information given in order to understand, not just learn, but understand the strategy. Scalper, for example, how does it work? Well, it's a trend reversal strategy. It's trading ranges. With that statement, trend reversal strategy, we covered that a lot before, what a trend reversal strategy is. Why does it trade ranges? How does range trading work? We covered that a lot as well. What are the benefits of range trading? There's a high hit rate. You're right more often than not. And that specifically for scalpers, pretty good base, things like that, right? Then we understand how it works, meaning that, okay, where we're trying to long bottoms and short tops, obviously, in that range, and we're looking for confirmation based on, many indicators to support that claim of, okay, we will bounce. And if we're right more often than not, then we already have an edge. In this case, we're right much more often than not. And on top of that, the trades that we trade are really good deals because our risk to reward is very high, meaning that we risk much less than we can gain. So when we do that trade and we do it many times and we're right more often than not on top of that, then the results are, very, very profitable. And, that's just simple math. It's the risk to reward together with the win rate. And, when that is profitable, if you add them together or multiply them together, well, then you will be profitable. If both are very high, then you will be exponentially more profitable. And by increasing the chance of you being profitable the next trade exponentially, will make sure that you are consistently profitable as well. So that's how it works. Why does it work? Well, it works. So number one, how it works, right? Number two, why does it work? It works because we're trading ranges, so we already have a confirmation there. Then we use other indicators like oscillators on top of that, so we get different confirmations. And then we also look at different time frames, so we have different perspectives on those confirmations. And when you apply that together with the core market principles of how the market works in the first place, you have enough confirmations where you get an edge. That's why it works. The next question, so we have, first of all, we use the information given to understand it. Then we answer the questions. Number one, how does it work? We answered that. Number two, why does it work? We answered that. Number three, when does it work? Well, it's a range trading strategy, meaning that it works best in ranges. And so whenever there's a range and we see that we're in a ranging market, that is the best time to trade it. That's the highest win rate, highest risk to reward. All the aspects are optimized for range trading. The next question, though, is when does it not work? And that's important as well. And that is something that most people skip over because it's not something that's fun to look at or fun to think about. Well, when does it not work? It does not work when we have a trend following, so a breakout out of that range, and assuming that we have a breakout to the top side and we're shorting the top of the range, well, then that's going to be a loss, right? And that is fine as long as we expect the loss and as long as the loss itself is not going to cost us the profits from before. And we need to handle that in order to we need to handle that if that happens, and that will happen. So that might mean that we need to put a tighter stop loss, which would affect our profits as well, because we would stop out of trades that would have been good anyways, but we still stop out, but it's still worth it because we limit our downside. That's a possibility, right? That risk management and so on and so forth is already implemented in a strategy or in any strategy that you see in the Discord at least. But we still need to understand when it works and when it doesn't work, because when we're in a market environment where it does not work very well, then we can adjust our thinking about it and be able to manage the risk and the profit much better. If we don't understand when it doesn't work, then we are setting ourselves up for a very hard time in the trading environments when it doesn't work. The reason why our dashboards work so well is because we know when the strategy does work and doesn't work, and we we combine together strategies that are negatively correlated, that work on the opposite times. And the consistency is really, really good, but the reason that is because we understand why a strategy works or it doesn't work. So that's something very important. So that's number one, really, and that was point one, right? And really that point is just understanding and learning about the strategy, but that doesn't mean just reading about it and that's all, great, perfect, done. That's not the case. What we actually want to fully understand that strategy, and we do that by asking and answering the right questions. We need to understand, we need to be able to answer how it works. We need to be able to answer why it works. We need to be able to answer when it works, and we need to be able to answer when it doesn't work. If you can answer these four questions about a strategy, then you actually understand the strategy. Before that, you might have read about it, but you're absolutely not able, or you're absolutely not in a position to trade it and expect consistency out of it, because you did not do your due diligence. So that's point number one. Point number two is now we start applying the knowledge, or the understanding that we got. So what do? We start looking for example trades, right? So we have a strategy, say the stock strategy. Let me just put this away for a second here. Let's assume we just have the stock strategy here, right? So we start looking for trades, right? So mid time frames, we look for alignments on the stochastics on the 5, 15, 30, and 1 hour. If we have a setup, then we have a setup, right? And we start looking for these setups. And when we have a setup, well, actually, before we look for setups ourselves, we look for example trades. So we have the strategy, right? We understood it, and now the next step is to taking the strategy and looking at previous trades that have been traded with that strategy. That being someone else trading it, or a backtesting result or something like that. And we look at past trades and we understand. For that, I can actually go back to the scalper. We look at past trades and we understand why those trades happened, why it entered, why it exited, and what could have been better on those. Right? So why was it a trade in the first place? Why was it an exit? Why was it a profit or a loss? And what could have been done better in that trade? And we do that for a bunch of trades. We do that for 10, 20 trades. And with the knowledge that we had before, we answer those questions. And now we're looking at those trades, and we're looking through 10, 20 trades, in a backtest or in a historical live trades. And we look at them and we understand them. Now when you look live on the market, we have so much more understanding about the strategy, because we've learned the theory about it, and then we've seen it in practical use. And now take, say there's Mark, right? And Mark has done that. He has done step one. He answered all the questions. He understands how the strategy works, why it works, when it works, and when it doesn't work. And he also looked at 20 past trades and understood why it was a trade, why it was a profit or a loss, and what could have been done better in that trade. And now he's looking at live data. So that's Mark. Joe hasn't done anything. He just read 2 sentences about the strategy, and now he's looking at live data. Who's going to do better? Obviously Mark, right? And it's not even going to be close. Like Mark will wipe the floor with Joe. It's not even close. So that's why we do the due diligence, and that's why we do the preparations before we even start looking at the live market. And then when we do start looking at the live market, we start looking for setups. We're not even thinking about management. We're not even thinking about profits. We're starting to look at possible entries in the market with the strategy, with the understanding that we've done it with it already. And as we do that, we look at the live markets and we look at, potentially when is this a trade? And when we see a potential trade, we mark it. And as we mark it, we then go into, ideally, this step is optional. Obviously in the Discord, it's not optional, it's mandatory. But, if you're watching this on YouTube, then and you don't have people to talk with about trading, then I would suggest you find a group. You can literally just come into this Discord and you'll be better off than anything. But really, so the next step is to discuss that trade, right? So discuss the trade, say, okay, I found this setup. I think it's viable because of ABC. Does this make sense? And then other people will come in and you will be able to discuss that setup and see if you're right or not, really, and then see the opinions of other people. And, that will also improve the community overall as well, not just you. And after discussing them, you will see, you mark it, and you will see how it plays out in the live market. And as you see how it plays out in the live market, you will see, okay, was I right or was I not right? And once you're confident in finding those setups, meaning that, once you post the setups into the group and people say, this is a great setup, this is a great setup, and then you see them play out, how you want them to play out, then you're in a pretty good position to starting to trade, right? Once again, we've done the work beforehand, and we haven't just done any work, right? Like someone could grind and, read a 1,000-page book about trading and then spend like 100 hours on it. And then there could be you, understanding the strategy, being able to answer 5 questions and then doing 20 trades and looking at 20 historical trades, and in total it's probably going to take you like 3 hours, and you will be better off than the person that grinded the 100 hours in reading a book, because you did specific knowledge, right? It's very important where you channel the energy, and if you channel your energy to the correct things, you have a huge leverage on it. So that's something important to say. We have that knowledge. Then we have, proven to ourselves that the knowledge is valid in a community. Plus, then we saw how how the trade started playing out. So now what we can do is we can demo trade. And the reason why I'm saying don't demo trade right away, demo trade now, is because when you start demo trading, there's a lot of new variables that you're adding in. Like, if you click the wrong button, or if you, over leverage, or, if you do stuff like that, then that messes up the learning that you do with the strategy. So that's why first we understand it, then we look at historical trades, then we look at confirmations and wait for it to play out, and only then we trade, because at that point we have all of that stuff in our muscle memory already. So in every single step, we focus on one specific thing. We don't throw everything in our brain and wait for it to figure it out, because then mistakes happen. We focus on one specific thing every single time. Now we understood the strategy, and now we're adding in demo trading, right? So that means that, for the next couple trades, it will be, you will have to get used to, putting the orders in, putting the exits in, managing the trade live, whereas before it was enough to just look at it every once in a while. But now you're in the trade. So, that's a completely new variable, completely new dimension that you need to integrate into your muscle memory. So that's why we do that. So once we're confident with the previous step, we start trading on a demo account. And the only thing that we are focusing on, we're not focusing about profits, we're not focusing about anything like that. The only thing that we're focusing on is if we're following the strategy. That's the importance of this step, right? The strategy, the learning, all of that, the validation, all of those steps have been done already. Now, the thing that we're testing is, can I as a person execute what I'm supposed to execute? That's the only thing. So even if the strategy stopped working, say, you will still, on your demo account, you will still follow the strategy, because that's the thing that we're testing. And as you trade on your demo account, you will start looking at the strategy, and you will, trade 10, 20 trades. And as you do that, it will become easier to enter, easier to exit. And as you're in the trades, you will, you will get to know the in and outs of the strategy, things that you don't see in a backtest, because you don't see the, candle going up and down live in front of you in a backtest, right? You only see that on live, and you'll find the in and outs and the inefficiencies of a strategy while you trade it live. And that is still testing. You cannot do that on a live account. You need to do it on a demo account, because there's so much more that you don't see on a backtest, than you don't see on historical data, that happens when you're trading it live. So you need to trade it live on a demo account before you do anything else. And the main thing is you're focusing on is, do I execute it exactly on a strategy? And do I have my emotions in check, where I can watch the trade, where I can watch the market, and I still execute it the way I'm supposed to? So that's what you do on the demo account. Now, you will keep trading on the demo account until you had your first big loss, minimum. Right? If it's your first trade, then obviously trade more. But it doesn't matter if you did 10 trades, 20 trades, 30 trades. You will keep trading on a demo account until you had your first loss. Because that first big loss. Because that first big loss will happen. And you know, that's a fact. You will have a big loss. So, and obviously, you know, rationally speaking, your first big loss is probably the loss that you will most likely handle the worst out of any losses that you have. Probably. So why would you ever want that loss to be on a live account? You wouldn't. So you will keep trading on a demo account until you had a big loss. It doesn't matter how long it is. And this also reframes, you know, how you're looking at the strategy, because you will start being excited to get a big loss. And because of that, it will reframe your mindset from the fear of a big loss, which then, you know, then just redirects you into revenge trading, into many other, you know, bad habits. So when you reframe your mind and you're on a demo account and you're looking for a big loss so you can finally trade on a live account, then you get excited for a big loss, and it will completely switch the mindset of how you're supposed to trade, which is exactly what you want. So you will wait until you had your big loss, because only then you truly understand the strategy, and a big loss is coming anyways, so you need to experience it on a demo account instead of a live account. Then the next step is recovering from the loss. So you'll keep trading on the demo account until you recover from that loss that you just had. Because if you can't recover from it on a demo account, you can't recover from it on a live account. And if you can't recover from it on a live account, then it will only go down. So you need to be able to recover from a loss on a demo account, and that is the milestone that you're looking for, where you can say, I actually understand and control a strategy. That is your key point. The key point is not, do I know what the entries and exits are, or have I traded 50 trades already? Those are not key metrics to if you understand a strategy or not. The only metric, if you understand a strategy or not, if you're able to trade it, is if you can recover from a loss with that strategy. That's the main thing. And if you can recover from a loss with that strategy, then you're good to trade. Because, okay, and now, take everything that we said, right? So we learned about it, we answered the questions, we looked at historical data, we learned about the strategy more, we got confirmations from the community, we watched the trades play out, then we started with the demo account, then we traded many trades until we had a big loss, and then we recovered from the big loss, and now we're starting to live trade. That's Mark. Joe watched one YouTube video for 30 minutes and is live trading. Who's going to win? It's not even a competition. Like, Mark will not even know that Joe exists, because Joe will be gone before Mark even opens his eyes. It's not even close. So now we have a checklist of step-by-step things to do that will guarantee you that you're in a much better position than another trader trading the strategy. So why would you ever not follow those steps before live trading? If you don't, then by definition, you're irresponsible with your money. Because you have the option to do that, and it's probably going to take you a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days, and that's it, and nothing more. But the upside is that you come into a market more prepared than 99% of people. And we're talking about real money here. We're talking about risking the money that you've been in a job and worked hard for it, or you got the money somehow and you exchanged it for a time and energy or something like that. And you're just willing to throw it out the window. Might as well burn it, right? And if you don't, like, if you don't want to burn your money, but you want to make more money out of your money, then you need to prepare. This is exactly how you prepare. Exactly how you prepare. You answer the questions. How does the strategy work? Why does it work? When does it work? When does it not work? You look at past trades. You analyze 20 of them and you answer, why was it a trade? Why was it a profit or a loss? What could have been better on that trade? Then you start looking for setups and ask for confirmations in the community. You look at the live markets, you find potential setups, you discuss them, you see how they play out, right? And then you start demo trading. And you start demo trading until you get a big loss, which will completely rewire your mind about trading, which is absolutely something that you need. And then you recover from that loss. And after you recover from that loss, you have absolute proof and confidence that you can actually trade this strategy. And you know you can go into the market and you can have the confidence that you will do the right decisions at the right time because you have literal physical proof that you're able to do those decisions. Whereas that's why, and then you won't be stressed out in the market. And when you're stressed out in the market, that's when all the mistakes happen. But the reason you won't be, like, how do you get confidence? Through bulletproof proof that what you're doing is good. Through bulletproof facts that you deserve that confidence. And you literally just did that. And you recovered from a big loss. So now you can live trade with a strategy that you fully understand, with practical experience of handling bad scenarios in that strategy. So now, and also with the rewired brain of looking forward to strategy. So now when you have a big loss in the live market, you won't revenge trade. You will actually go back to that rewiring of like, oh wow, I just had a loss. This is exciting because now I get to recover from that loss, right? Which is something completely different, and it actually brings you so far away from revenge trading mentally that is exactly where you want to be. That's how you make sure that you don't revenge trade. So you recover from that loss, and once you're fully confident you recovered from a loss, then you can start trading with a small amount. And the reason you start trading with a small amount, not a large amount, is not because you don't have the skills, but this is yet another variable. Right, and because it is another variable, what that means is that it takes some getting used to. So you make sure that it's live, then you start with a smaller amount. The main thing again is focusing on implementing that variable without changing anything else. And then once you get confident, once it's in your muscle memory, then you start increasing the amount that you trade with. And at that point, as you start increasing the amount that you trade with, well, surprise, surprise, it's probably going to be pretty good, and you're not going to revenge trade, and you're not going to blow your account. Why? Because you came prepared, and you started trading with small amounts and then built your way up. So at this point, you have full confidence for a good reason, because you have a full stack of proof of why you should have that confidence, number one. And number two, you have full understanding about the strategy, you have practical experience, and you have rewired your brain. And then also on top of that, you have an experience of handling the worst case scenario of that strategy. And that is when people revenge trade, when the worst case scenario happens and they don't know how to handle it. Well, guess what? You already handled it before you started trading in the first place. So this is how you set yourself up for success. You have a list of step-by-step things, and every single thing is there for a very exact reason. And the reason of all those things together is to, prepare you and rewire your brain and give you the knowledge. So once those situations happen in the real world, in the market, you know exactly what to do. That's why the military trains all those situations, right? And that's why, an example, the American military is very, very tactical and very, very good in, playing out missions and succeeding in missions, is because of that immense preparation that happened before that. They know exactly what to do in split seconds, right? And you don't even need to be that far in it, but just following these steps, I guarantee you, will put you so far ahead of other people that it will not make sense for you not to make money. It would be illogical for you to not make money because you're prepared and you know exactly what to do. So those are all the 3 steps. So all the steps, probably more than 3 steps. So I will say it one more time to clarify, to conclude. You guys can write it down if you want to, right? So step 1 is understanding. Understanding means that you take the information that you have and you answer these 4 questions. How the strategy works, why the strategy works, when the strategy works, and when it doesn't work. And what that means is that if I randomly in the Discord ask you one of those 4 questions, you need to be able to immediately answer. If you can, then you did step 1 correctly. Step 2 is looking at example trades. So now you either take live data or historical data, just some trades that have been recorded with that strategy, and you go through 20 of them, and for every single trade, you answer 3 questions. You answer, why was it a trade? Why was it a profit or a loss? And what could have been done better in that trade? Just these 3 questions. Just answer them. Without thinking, just answer those questions. And you will already be so far ahead of other people. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is start looking for setups and ask for confirmations. So you start looking for setups in the live market, you post them and you discuss them in the community, then you mark them and you see how they play out in real time. And once you've done this at least 10 times, you can start trading on a demo account. Step 4 is trading on a demo account. So once you're confident, you start on a demo account, you make sure you focus on following the rules of the strategy. That's the main thing you focus on. You focus on learning the ins and outs and the inefficiencies of the strategies, how it looks like in real time, right? That's step number 4. And you keep trading until you had your first big loss. That's what you do. Step number 5 is you recover from that loss. So all the knowledge that you did until this point, all the steps that you did until this point prepared you for this exact step, step 5, which is the crucial step, which is recovering from a loss. So in order to do that, you need to have all the knowledge, do all the backtesting, do all the confirmations, do demo trades, and then have a big loss in those demo trades. And then once you do, now the real test happens where you recovered from a loss. And then, it can be a 10% loss, it can be a 20% loss, whatever a large loss is in that strategy, in the way you're trading it. And only after you recovered from a loss, then that's whenever I see you live trade and I know that the strategy is new for you, until I don't see proof that you recovered from a loss on a demo account, I will not help you on your live account. You need to first do this on a demo account because it's absolutely irresponsible for you to do that on a live account. So once you recovered from a loss, once you're fully confident, you start trading with a small amount. That's point number 6. And the only thing that you're focusing on is the transition to a live account. And then step number 7 is you start increasing the amount that you trade with incrementally. And these 7 steps will take you from wherever you are, from a beginner in a strategy, and it will transform you into a profitable, consistent trader of that strategy. Obviously, the strategy needs to be good. That's our responsibility when we give you strategies, right? Which I think we have done well. So You do these 7 steps and you go from beginner to consistently making money in a strategy. These 7 steps. So yeah, make sure you do those. And if you don't, right, so you have the information available and you also have the capability and the possibility of doing that. So not doing that in live trading is absolutely responsible if you have the option to do that, which you have right now, because you literally got a list of those 7 steps and you got the strategies. All you have to do is execute on them, and you will, just by definition, by the laws of physics, you will be much better off than if you hadn't. So do that. And you will see, I promise you will see, the difference in live trading will be mind-blowing to you. How you look at trades, how you manage trades, how you react in certain situations. It will be mind-blowing to you. You won't even recognize yourself. So yeah, that is everything that I wanted to cover. That's everything from my side. Make sure you guys took some notes. If not, then I can write it down for you guys probably. Not sure if I want to do that. Ideally, it'd be great if, some of you guys made the notes and wrote it down, because then, you guys did it. So, yeah, that's all from my side. Wasn't really much live trading. I mean, we just saw the scalper do its thing. After a good short, had a good long. And I love to see when the entries are really good. So yeah, I mean, when we're just talking and we're not live trading, I just have the scalper running so we can watch something and cheer on in the background, and usually it ends up doing pretty well. So yeah, really good with that. We'll be working on different projects with the scalper as well, automation and so on and so forth. So all of that's coming. So yeah, that's everything from my side. I see Hans here. I'll pull you up, and if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Yo, what it do, man?
Hey man, how's it going?
Chilling, bro. I got my sidekick here with me.
Nice. Yeah, I can hear.
Yo, you can hear him? All right. I just wanted to show you this one thing, bro. It's this website called winrate.io. I'll put it on the chat here. Oh, okay. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, be careful. Alright, I'll share my screen. But yeah, as you were talking, I saw that strategy has a 66% win rate, and then this website will just simulate your profits for crypto trading. So I just threw in some random numbers here. I got $500 balance, 66% win rate, a stop loss of 0.5%. So this is according to your account. So this is 0.5% of $500, and then a take profit of 75%. Under 1%, 20x leverage, 100 trades, and then this is the results here: 14,000 profit and 100 trades. Pretty cool. 20x leverage. But you could also go into the advanced settings, and you could edit some more stuff, like how do you enter on the market order. And then it also includes the fee, because if you do, like, scalping can be, the thing about scalping is that if you're gonna enter with market orders a lot of the time, unless, like, with your strategy, you advise layering in with limit orders, which is also good. But technically speaking, scalpers just enter on market orders. So this
Yeah, right. So yeah, exactly. By the way, so yeah, that's also, by the way, that's also a reason why we like to layer in, because you always get or you are getting really close to the optimal entries, And yeah, with the backtest, by the way, so this looks good, and I love this, by the way. This is really great. Everyone should use this because it simulates the probabilities, right? So you see that, you know, it's not just a straight line, it's going up and down based on the possibilities of how the probabilities can happen. So that's good. And then on top of that, with the scalper, right, the trading view backtest is, I don't know, like a fraction of the efficiency of the other backtest, or of the actual performance. So that's something also to note. The win rate's probably going to be closer to like 85% or something like that. But it doesn't really matter. Even with the 66, it's really good to see.
Yeah. So I mean, 66 is good. Like as you can see with the simulated, and this simulates random trades. So if you go down, you can see win, loss. You know, $26. The fee is $8.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's really good. It also simulates the fee higher on the losses. It looks like, which is good.
Yeah, because you on market and then you stop loss gets hit on the market too.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna use it myself too. I'll make sure to add it in the resources.
Yeah. So there it is, guys. Run this thing. You know what I'm saying? And let's make some money.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you jumping in.
No doubt, bro.
All right, perfect, guys. Great call. And if you guys don't have any other questions, thank you for showing up. Thank you, Hans, for adding in some value once again. And I'll see you guys in the Discord.